Twin Bill, where you can get your fill of hosts Jason and Marcus talking about movies and stuff. You know you never can get enough. A twin is two people who are related. Twin Bill. This season is Razzie Mania. Hello, welcome to Twin Bill, the show where two identical twins, I guess at the moment, decide whether the Golden Raspberry Awards were right or whether they were wrong, which makes the movie right instead of wrong. I am your host, per usual, co-host, but lead co-host, uh, Los Angeles-based stand-up comedian slash actor Jason Luna. The company is always my co-host, the San Diego branch of the Luna family fortune, Marcus Luna. How are you doing this evening, Marcus?
I wish I had a fortune for one thing.
Yeah, more than I do, that's for sure. Different podcast.
It's going well. As we're recording, Max Muncy just hit a go-ahead two-run home run at Yankee Stadium, so that's fun.
Yep. And the Mets have an off day, so undefeated in the second half. All right. Did you watch anything this week?
uh, no other movies. I just keeping up with. I guess that's about it. Keeping up with X-Men '97,
Yep.
which the episode got some flack online, but like every episode of that show, I liked it.
I liked it because I don't know, it was a change of pace, which is the show about time travel that happens. But yeah, uh, I watched three bonus movies this week.
No.
Relatively quick about it. Uh, First movie, The Dangers of Watching a Movie Exclusively Based on Promised Nudity. Uh, Too Hot to Handle. It's a 1970s erotic thriller filmed in the Philippines about basically a woman who kills guys and happens to take off her clothes in the moments in between. The funniest thing is there's this cop who's like on the case, and his big plan to capture her is to start having sex with her and propose marriage.
Uh,
That's some dedicated police work. Uh, and then a very heavy movie to watch, just for some fun podcast like this, I guess. I watched Carrie, the original Carrie, Brian De
Damn.
Palma's most celebrated film, arguably. I mean, it's close, but arguable. But yeah, yeah, not much to
I think
say. But
Untouchables. I just want to say, Untouchables probably one of the most Oscars of any of his movies.
and I mean, Scarface is probably the most culturally revered. Those are the main contenders. Good director. Anyway, as you might suspect, with a very early generation Stephen King adaptation, it's not very subtle or clever. It's a Brian De Palma movie, so you need a woman's locker room, full frontal nudity sequence. Two Brian De Palma movies we watched adjacent to this podcast with a naked woman in a shower. Yes, because what was the one with the Dress to Kill?
That's a hard title to remember.
Yeah, and then well, you haven't seen it, right, Carrie?
No, I should at some point, but
I won't get into it too much, but it's very convoluted and nonsensical. Why they hate Carrie so much, and the plan they get into to mess with her. It doesn't make any sense. But yeah,
yeah, it's true of it too that it's the bullying gets very sadistic.
yeah, I hate to see
Uh,
that. You know,
so it's true to the book probably. I've never read a Stephen King book. They're hard to get through, but
no, I mean, yeah, I don't true to book is a good thing based on my experience watching his movies. But anyway, yeah. And then the last one I watched Toy Story 5 in the theater. I mean, I guess you have to at this point. Uh, Not much to say. I mean, the CGI has gotten so good that I guess, mild, but there's animals in it, and they were so good, and they were completely fake, like visually. It was like crazy. Like, I don't know how to describe. It's like you feel attached to an animal that's made of computer graphics. And yeah, I was like, they're kind of getting on a formula since Toy Story 3, which is like, we got to go to this really far away location. I guess it's kind of convoluted, but I ugly cried a couple times. They keep finding new ways for toys to get sad about things, and yeah, recommend mild recommend, but still better than most things in movies. All right, let's talk about a movie that ironically, whatever, use CGI to much lesser effect than the Toy Story franchise, The Electric State. Uh, so brief segment on why this movie matters now. I mean, this movie is like drenched in things everyone talks about. There's artificial intelligence, there's VR, there's technology creating a semi-apocalypse. This movie is like still relevant, which makes sense. It was like came out a year ago, but yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think this movie was clever enough to make robots a metaphor for racial minorities?
Mm, that didn't cross my mind while watching it, but now you say it, yeah, kind of, it's kind of glass breaking. It should have been obvious because it's clearly parables about oppressed people versus majority.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like internment camp with the. I had to watch the trailer to spell it too. That for the reason why it's called the Electric State is because the the huge block, it's like blocked off like a massive prison. It's kind of like the internment camps in World War II.
Or the Japanese ones, I guess, might be. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, similar. Yeah. All right. Yeah. And the third reason I wrote down why this movie matters now is because I felt like everyone working in Hollywood was involved with this movie. Let's get to right now with our back and forth breakdown game. So, Marcus, what is your fondest memory of Anthony Russo, director and producer on this movie? Not Joe Russo, but Anthony Russo.
Kind of weird because I think of it the same way, basically, except that Joe Russo makes more cameos, including this movie.
Yes. So, yeah, the
Anthony
second.
Russo's the Anthony Russo's one with glasses. You were a bigger Arrested Development fan than me, but I know him from that. And I think we agree that the two Avenger movies are great. And then uh, I meant to say agree that the Winter Soldier might be we both might think is the best Marvel movie ever made.
I mean, it's so different than Endgame or Infinity War. I debate Infinity War being number one or Winter Soldier or Endgame. They're all up there, but one one's a grand epic, one's like a spy movie. It's like, but yeah, they're all great. But yeah,
okay, I guess just get sort of. I can't believe you separated them. What do you think about Joe Russo?
well, like you said, Joe Russo is shorter, a little chubby. This is great insight. He played a character in the movie called Skeevy Bot, which I did not remember, but it's a very descriptive name for a bot.
So is he uncredited as because there's a in the beginning there's two talking heads arguing about robots and I know I thought it was Joe Russo as one of the two talking heads.
Yeah, I think you're right. Usually Wikipedia catches the uncrediteds, but I think they ignored that one because Skeevy Bot was in the credits. Yeah, it was fine cameo. Not, I mean, not, I was gonna say not the most remarkable acting, but it's not the most remarkable part. So Okay, and we've got two people that are commonly associated as a team and not individuals that we're doing separately. Do you have any familiarity with these? One of the screenwriters, Christopher Marcus.
So looking at the credits right now, and I can't believe separating again because Wikipedia has them together.
Yeah,
It's either Marvel or things I haven't seen. Um, so although Marcus is not a co-writer on the upcoming Avengers Doomsday, but that hasn't come out yet, so I can't give my opinion on that. The first Captain America: First Avenger is one of the weaker Marvel movies, but after that, they're on quite a run together as writers.
yeah.
Chronicles of Narnia looks bad. I haven't seen any of them. I know a lot of people defend those movies. And they wrote Pain and Gain together, which looks awful.
I would say, in hindsight, a lot of the Thor stuff, it's fine. Not the top upper echelon, but yeah, well, that was kind of them too. But yeah,
I like the Dark World. It's not a popular opinion. I think most people don't like it, but
well, I'm reading comics that are with that character Malekith the elephant. It's fucking amazing. So there you go. All right. You can just skip the McFeely one because yeah, I think we covered it. One of them with glasses again, I think. But yeah.
I don't know if they're breaking up. But McFeely's the only credited, or McFeely's writing with some guy, co-wrote with some guy named Michael Waldron for Doomsday.
Huh.
So what's going on the Marcus and McFeely relationship? They're not McFeeling each other anymore.
Yeah.
Uh, whose turn is it? Oh, so I guess asking you. I don't think either of us heard of this guy before the movie, but are you familiar with the works of author Simon Stalenhag?
Yeah. So he wrote a graphic novel that this movie's based on, and apparently this is the rare case in modern times because usually fanboys are so excited about a book adaptation, you have to do a movie that's like exactly like the book. Apparently, people were complaining that the movie is not at all like the book and tried to make it a fun adventure movie instead of a cerebral graphic novel. But anyway, so yeah, he wrote this, and then he wrote something called Tales from the Loop, which Amazon has already started adapting. It's similarly
Hmm.
convoluted, difficult to explain. There's a experimental physics lab in Ohio. Whatever I don't know what that means, but presumably things go awry. So let's get into the freaking four producers, not counting the two directors. So this will be fun.
50 billion credit executive producer, so I'm glad I didn't pick all of them.
I did the Wikipedia. Wikipedia sort of cleans things up as opposed to the IMDb. Do you have any memories of Russell Ackerman?
Pulling up his credits now. What he's most known for. Is that there's an Al Capone movie with Tom Hardy?
Yeah, I didn't recognize it when I saw it either. It sounds vaguely familiar. He did a lot of British independent crimey things when he's trying to get out of the Hollywood shell or whatever. But
I don't recognize any of these. So good for him to moving up to such a major motion picture as this. I did want to see They Will Kill You. They Will Kill You. Starring Zazie Beetz, who's in some massive building where everyone's trying to kill her.
the Ren Van Hoek story, they will kill you. Briefly mention he got a special thanks on a very, I mean, for a modern horror movie, it's pretty good. The Guillermo del Toro produced Mama.
Yeah, I like that movie. It was a fun horror movie.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Next up is Chris Castaldi.
Yeah, he's actually best known as a second unit director. Calm down, ladies. Calm down. All right, but he worked on Iron Man. Yeah, Man of Steel. No. Those are the main credits I saw. Yeah.
Looks like he's producing his things I haven't heard of, and he did that Gray Man movie, which is the first Russo brothers trying to do something outside of the MCU movie, which they also did for Netflix.
Yep. Uh, you have any thoughts on The Rock, Mike LaRock?
So now we're getting to actual. Well, actually, Castaldi was too, not an EP. Uh, producer. A remake of Hands Rocks the Cradle. Never saw the original, so
Is the original Rebecca De Mornay?
he produced the remake,
What year is the remake?
2025.
What is the remake? Wow, wow. That makes me feel really old. But yeah, okay.
Uh, good for him. He produced the Best Picture winner and Everything Everywhere All at Once. That was pretty good. It wasn't perfect, but whatever, it's fine. Spy,
I love that movie.
Rise of Planet of the Apes, never saw.
It's okay.
21 Bridges, rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman.
I've heard mixed things about that movie.
So he doesn't really do arty fare. But he's involved in movies with lots of technology, action. Oh, good for him. I don't know.
Yeah, that's about it. It's good at his job, it sounds like. Yeah.
And finally, for the producers, Patrick Newell.
I think it's in the British parlance it's Newell. I don't know. But the most fun one was I was not aware that William Friedkin directed this. This is like right before he either died slash retired or whatever. Uh the murder conspiracy thriller Killer Joe.
I knew Friedkin directed that.
He has a very erratic career with different podcasts, but yeah.
I actually was flipping through the channels several years ago and saw the ending of that movie without watching the rest of it. And I do not feel regret, like, oh man, I missed, I got the ending spoiled from an awesome movie. That was not my thoughts.
Yep. So now we're getting into the big leagues because music and then the cast. So the music, I guess you probably heard. I know you've heard of him. So, but what is your favorite or whatever you want to say about Alan Silvestri?
I didn't know he did much other than that. Well, he's very prolific. I knew he was prolific. I wasn't aware he was still working. Uh, but definitely Back to the Future's got to be number one. Um, so yeah, that's what I'll always know him for. And
He did the. Oh, go
it's
ahead.
a fun theme for that movie that's very famous. Go ahead and tell me about the other things he did you
No,
want to talk about?
he said Back to the Future, and he did all the MCU stuff that no one remembers. So that's why he's got this movie. But uh, Predator has one of the great movie theme songs. It's right up there with RoboCop. Very scary jungle music. Yeah, yeah. So one of the cast.
What do you think of Millie Bobby Brown?
So she plays. I don't know. I guess you get the names from the book, but Michelle Leona Green, a teenage foster child whose brother disappeared during the Robot War. I only know her from Stranger Things. Her name was 11, and she loved Eggo waffles.
I haven't seen it, but she's in the Enola Holmes movies.
Oh, it's so weird because I didn't hear like, oh, they're doing a new Sherlock Holmes. I just heard, oh, there's this thing that's already exists called Enola Holmes. I'm like, okay, that's weird. All right. As John Keats, a former robot war soldier turned Han Solo character, Chris Pratt. Your thoughts?
Uh, I don't know. I can't tire of Chris Pratt. He plays versions of the same thing.
Yep, very
Maybe
Star Lord.
Star.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I just finished
Sorry,
my sentence.
rapid convo, friends.
Yes, it's just. he's just riffing off Star-Lord, which maybe because Star-Lord is such a great performance for him, he's riffing off that, or maybe Star-Lord is such like Chris Pratt that that's what he bases all his performances on like this.
Yeah,
Uh,
I really miss the Andy Dwyer improv comedian. We'll never get that back, I don't think. But yeah, Parks and Rec, obviously. Yeah,
I have to read all this. Okay, as Dr. Clark Amherst, a center scientist who went into the hiding, also as PC Dr. Amherst's assistant robot talks like him for some reason. Hey, he won.
yep. I mean, obviously, Kei Kwan redefined his persona from Everything Everywhere All at Once. I would say I enjoyed him most in Encino Man or The Goonies. Like most people, Short Round is also excellent. Dr. Jones, Dr. Jones.
Well, some of those movies are better than it. I like the new age that Keiji Kwan we're in with starting with Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I know,
Well,
but yeah, okay. I just think Everything All at Once is a little bit of an onerous, long movie. Temple of Doom's a little more like fun to watch. It's fun to watch. But yeah.
his role's kind of lame in this movie.
Yeah, it's kind of cameo almost, especially because he plays the robot afterwards. But yeah. All right. Shorter description. Playing Ted Finister. What a name. Michelle's foster dad, Jason Alexander.
Obviously most famous for television for George Costanza. Uh, plays a lot of whiny supporting characters, so playing the abusive foster dad in this one is appropriate. Well, I guess he's the good guy and Dunstan. He tries to be a good guy and Dunstan checks in. He
Yeah.
probably has other things he'd like me to mention first on his filmography. That's coming to mind for film for him. Um, I haven't seen the whole thing. I've seen clips of Shallow Howling. I know he plays one of Hal's better friends in that movie.
Yeah.
Thoughts? Do you have any thoughts, Jason Alexander? Or are we moving on?
Oh, okay. I had a half thought, which was like, can't think of a lot of roles that he did that are worth talking about. He was in Pretty Woman. He's a bad guy in that too. But yeah, moving on.
Right, he voiced the leader of the robot clan, Mr. Peanut, Woody Harrelson.
This is one of a few voices in this movie that I did not recognize until I was told it was the person. I mean, obviously, I think of Woody Boyd on Cheers, the greatest role of a generation. It's a little more of a adult Woody Harrelson voice, like the Three Billboards. He's old now. I don't know. I don't know what to say about this performance.
Yeah, Woody Harrelson's best in a comedic role, and this is definitely not it. He's leader of the resistance. And Mr. Peanut, maybe because the Bill Hader commercials as of late, but I don't ever associate him with the Southern voice. So it's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's a very heroic Civil War general, Mr. Peanut.
Sound like McConaughey to me, but not quite, which is a good way to describe Woody Harrelson as a voice actor, I think.
Yeah, not much of a, yeah, he's not much of a voice. He does voices, but he's not a voice actor. That's the way to put it. Okay. Anyway, one of the weirdest person to what the voice sounds like in the movie because they just put his voice at like max high pitch or whatever. Uh, Herman, the sassy robot, and Chris Pratt's partner in crime, Anthony Mackie.
Wonderful actor. He's a very good Falcon slash Captain America. Well, the quality of his films, him as Captain America versus Chris Evans as Captain America is I don't think that's Anthony's fault. Yeah, I don't think there's any way anyone could listen to that movie and be like, oh, that's definitely Anthony Mackie's Herman. Um, Herman's probably my favorite character. Spoiler alert. He has that missing Marvel energy that this movie's lacking more than anyone.
I think it's the only funny character that like delivers their lines in a functional comedic actor way. We'll get to the other robots in a second. They're a little more like clumsy in the joke delivery. But yeah, yeah.
He voices Pop Fly, the baseball robot, Brian Cox.
Another one that was like, really? You cast that guy as that guy? Because it's like Bill Hader would have been a perfect casting as a quirky baseball player, but Brian Cox. Honestly, the first thing that came to mind when I was doing this was the McDonald's commercials, like filet of fish, nothing's better on a Sunday afternoon. But and then also I don't
Commercials
know.
are very.
Sorry, go ahead, go ahead.
Well, I thought of that too because those commercials are very pervasive. They're on all the time on radio and podcast and TV. So yes, it's this great actor who's won multiple Emmys now as the leader of that family on on Succession, which I haven't watched, but I probably would enjoy.
Yeah, it's high quality. And he played a lot of that guy know-it-all or villains like X2. He played the government bad guy and stuff. He's in, yeah, it's kind of not baseball players.
Yeah,
It didn't sound like him that much either. I guess he can do voices when he wants to. I never heard that from him before. Anyway, as Penny Pal, a postal worker robot, Jenny Slate.
let's speed this up. Her best work is one of the as I can't remember their names, but the brother and sister on Parks and Recreation. She's
Saperstein.
excellent.
Saperstein. Sorry, go ahead now.
She's an excellent voice actress. I don't
Yeah,
say she's been in a lot of movies I haven't seen and stuff. She seems she seems very talented and it's a nice character that's likable and kind of I didn't enjoy it as much as Herman, but I think was a very well executed robot and it was entertaining when she was talking and stuff.
I agree. And everyone remembers Parks and Recreation when she would go, "Money, please." Okay, go ahead.
He played Marshall Bradbury, aka the Butcher of Schenectady, a soldier who hates robots, but then gives up on that thought because of
The plot.
something he probably knew of to begin with. Giancarlo Esposito.
So Gus Fring kind of ruined Giancarlo Esposito for America. I know it's a great role and two great shows, the Better Call Saul and the Breaking Bad, but he was amazing and like Do the Right Thing, Usual Suspects, back when he could be like a normal actor instead of just playing terse tough guy like in everything. But yeah, he's a great actor, obviously. Not much else to say. But, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Just a weirdly written character. And I don't know if we're gonna go over this plot point later, anyways. The whole thing about when Stanley Tucci kills Hee Kwan and he's like, you killed a guy, and then he's like, you didn't tell me that robot was a kid. And I feel like you could have seen both those things coming, and then he just gives up on fighting the cause because of those things.
I admit
It
at
felt
first,
kind of out of
you know,
field.
yeah. No, yeah, this movie kind of fell plot wise is very clumsy, but yeah, we'll get into that. Oh yeah. Okay. Ethan Skate. What a name. The CEO of Center, Stanley Tucci.
You know, a lot of actors get criticized for playing a version of themselves or playing the same thing over and over again. But I think that happens a lot because that version of himself is so good. And I think Stanley Tucci falls in that category where he often plays that that Stanley Tucci thing a lot. But I think Stanley Tucci as a villain may not work that well.
No, I mean, I don't know if it was a failure of the direction, but there was no emotional range to the character. Kind of felt like Stanley Tucci was hosting a cooking show again, and it was just like a very like matter of fact, which is
Well,
getting.
I much more charismatic he's hosting a cooking show. I think it's the screenwriting makes him a bad guy from the beginning. He just stays that.
Yeah, I agree. Not much to say. He kind of talks in a Stanley Tucci voice, doing Stanley Tucci things. He was in a he did a bunch of really good indie movies in the '90s I never watched, so I can't talk about them. Or whatever. Yeah, yeah.
She plays Madeline Vance, host of a news show called All Access with Madeline Vance. Holly Hunter.
I don't know. They didn't need that character to be in the movie other than the plot drops and stuff. Really wasted her talent. Obviously, Raising Arizona, broadcast news, Academy Award winner. I mean, she's above this movie in many ways. Yeah.
Yes,
Move on.
that's all I can think of.
Sorry.
All I can think of with her character is just a waste because she's always very entertaining. Anything she does, and it's just a cameo. I guess good for him to cash in. Uh,
Yeah. All right. They needed a separate actor for this, I guess. Cosmo, a cartoon character looking robot who is secretly Millie Bobby Brown's brother's brain, Alan Tudyk.
so it's an excellent voice that Alan Tudyk came up with, and Alan Tudyk is up there for best voice actors working today. He does wonderful work in all the Disney movies he does now. And he's a fun actor when he's doing live action too. Um, I probably really enjoy Resident Alien mainly for him, but a lot of shows I haven't watched them. But I think it would have been better if Cosmo the Robot had like a voice modulator that he could say whatever he wanted, but he talks like that or something, instead of that stupid thing where he can only say certain phrases.
Yeah, it made Millie Bobby Brown look kind of weird because she's like, "Oh, wait a minute, is that you in there, Bobby?" And it's like, "Cosmo wants to do this." It was very weird dialogue. It's like talking to Lassie. Yeah, go ahead.
Uh, he plays the robot magician Perplexo, Hank Azaria.
It's a little older and a little more passe, for lack of a better term, than Alan Tudyk, but same thing. It's like very good voice actor, kind of a little bit of a Mo Sizlek light voice for the character. It could have used more of that as a comedic balance. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and you watch enough Simpsons we did. Any Hank Azaria voice is a mixture of Simpsons voices. Because he did so many voices for Simpsons, it's hard for him not to steal from his Simpsons voices. It's kind of like his if Mo was a magician, but I actually believe in his magic because Mo was basically like, I pull a rabbit out of that. What do you freaking want? Something like that. I don't know, but
Yeah. Uh, Probably should have cut this, but this movie's so loaded with celebrities that even this character playing Wolf, a drone customer who talks to John Keats in one scene, Coleman Domingo.
Colin Domingo's tremendous as an actor. Just literally trying to stuff in cameos. It does, I guess, show that. Well, it's a good way. It actually was a pretty clever way to introduce Herman because he was hiding in the truck and shocks uh, this
Yeah.
guy. But I guess that's a way you can. But wouldn't everyone get handed a loaded gun and say, "Well, I'm not going to pay for it because I'm going to shoot you with it"? What? That was just
Well,
weird.
it's also like that's obvious, but also the cliche of then killing the guy or getting rid of the gun with whatever. Yeah. I just want to briefly say Coleman Domingo has a sexy voice. talks like this. It's a very sexy voice. Oh yeah, that's technically you. Yeah, yeah.
Jeez. Just because probably did it as a favor to Tom Brady. Blitz, a football robot outcast played by Gronk himself, Rob Gronkowski.
Not much to say. Thank God he didn't have more dialogue. I didn't notice him or get annoyed by him at all. Thank God. That's it.
I don't even remember him talking. I remember at the end when the big battle, which was decent. He shoots a bunch of footballs at the bots they're fighting in the big battle, I think.
Yeah. Speaking of characters you don't remember were robots, Garbage Bot, as played by everyone's favorite touring comedian, Billy Gardell.
And also obese actor. I don't know. Well, apparently he's lost a good amount of weight, probably had some surgery or something. Um, yeah, he's pretty fun. Mike and Molly was a good show, so he had some funny lines on that and whatnot. Was Garbage Bot in the mall?
Must have been, I don't even know. It's hard to, it's hard to keep track. Apparently, I don't know. I don't know.
If you give me a second, let's just Google real quick. Garbage Bot electric state. Oh boy.
Didn't come up right away.
No. God damn it. It's just like the robots from multiple robots from electric state.
Oh yeah, and it's like linking to generic pages with pictures of Electric State, not the robot. Okay. Oh, there's one. It's a yeah, it must have been working in the mall or something. It's just a little green robot with eyes. Very generic. All right, well, we got one more to go. Let's try to finish this stupid category.
So the news is done. Well, they had that Holly Hunter thing too, but the news segments were done with a MTV sounding guy, Kurt Loder playing himself.
This is one of my big issue with this movie is very convoluted, hat on a hat of technology and things going on. Do we really need a 90s period piece alternate reality movie on top of the thing? It was very confusing. Like, how do I feel about this? Like, is it different than 2026 robots? I don't know. His acting was okay. He sounded the same. It's been like 30 years. That's all I can say about him. But yeah.
He has an excellent voice for the news, and he did it a lot in the 90s. Good for him, he's still alive. I wouldn't surprise me if he was dead.
All right. Perfect time for a break. Oh, shit. We're back. And I only have one question about this movie's title, The Electric State, Marcus. They call it the Electric State is the area where they shove all the robots so they won't hurt anyone or whatever.
Mhm.
But they use electricity in the normal part. Why would they call it the electric state and not the robot state or something like that?
Good question, which I don't have the answer to. I don't know. Yeah,
Because
they could. I wouldn't mind a little couple lines of dialogue from the Tooch to explain why they chose it that way.
it's not just like they got rid of the robots, went back to normal technology. Stanley Tucci's like, remember those soldiers I created with VR helmets? Now I'm gonna get you to use a VR helmet in your house. So it's like even more technology. Whatever. Okay.
Right. They never want technology in people's lives, so that wasn't the point. I don't.
Yeah. Okay. That's okay. Oh, I had a great question and then I ruined it. But keep going. Okay. Next topic. Let's talk about the poster of this movie. Step aside for a second. I like the poster as far as posters go. We got our two leads. They're pet robots, for lack of a better term. if anything, it makes the movie seem like it's a lot more straightforward adventure than the movie is, with like convincing the robots to fight the war and the VR helmets and posters cleaner than the movie is my point.
Good poster. If you see this before you see the movie, you're curious, do these robots have any powers? Uh, what the hell's going on behind them? It has a lot of questions that you want to answer, so it's a good poster overall. I like it.
Yep. Uh, the tagline to the movie, which is "Rage with the Machines," or I guess "Rage with the Machines." Very accurate. The machines literally have a war, two wars technically. Uh, and the only nitpick is that the band Rage Against the Machine is probably kind of like, well, this has nothing to do with our music. But
They saw this with the filmmakers. I could imagine the movie would end, and then they would turn to the Russo brothers, Tom Morello and Zach De La Rocha, and say, "Do you know what raging means?" Uh,
eh, I mean, I guess there's no copyright law on puns like that, I guess, but it is weird that the machine is like the man and political oppression, not like literal robots.
they felt pressured to use a '90s pun because there's a set in the '90s, and I'll get to it in my review. There's obvious references to the '90s.
Find your nirvana.
Did I do that? Yes, I did.
Yeah, looks like this home could use some improvement. Okay, well, my screen glitched. Oh,
Oh,
the trailer, yeah. Um, I thought the trailer was kind of lame. I mean, it's well, like all these modern trailers, like it was well edited, because they use the computers. But they play somewhere over the rainbow over the end of the movie. It's like, okay, that makes
I
sense.
actually thought, I'm gonna disagree with you here. I thought that was more cinematic than the music in the entire actual movie. So,
You liked it.
yes,
I didn't like
I
the
thought the
graphics.
trailer was very well done.
I didn't, the graphics are like, this will connect us all. It just felt a little like you're overselling this movie's healing potential. But yes, I get it showed the best parts of the movie, like the giant robot with the unwieldy feet in the battle.
I thought it was more exciting than the movie in total, if I'm being honest. So,
Yeah, it's like a lot of trailers, but yeah, you're right. Okay. Fair point. It's not a horrible trailer. Like I said, it's well made. Let's go talk about the awards. So you have your Oscars, your Golden Globes, your Emmys. Let's get to the real awards. Kids' Choice Awards, where the kids decide. So Chris Pratt was nominated for favorite actor. Do you have any idea what movie or actor? I don't think I'll look it up, but do you have any idea what movie beat The Electric State for best actor?
no, not really. Is it like, no, it didn't go. I don't think that came out last year. It's gonna say like Chris, Chris Pratt as Mario in the Mario Brothers movie.
No, is the most meme-worthy movie in my lifetime, at least. I am Steve.
Steve.
It's the main character in Minecraft, aka the Minecraft movie.
You see that?
No, but I saw the meme. I saw the Red Letter Media did a whole video where they played "I Am Steve" like 600 times. That was they didn't finish
Is
the movie.
is that Jack Black or
Yes, Jack Black won the award. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then Millie Bobby Brown was nominated for favorite actress. It was a musical. I can't give it away, but what won favorite actress?
Snow White?
Okay, I won't do this guessing thing again. But anyway, it was Ariana Grande in Wicked, aka Wicked Part One.
That makes sense. I do think
Okay,
Millie did a better job than Chris. Just saying.
You thought Millie Bobby Brown did a better job than Chris Pratt?
Yes.
I do not agree. That's a podcast topic. Showdown. We'll get to that in the review section, I guess. Actually, we will. We will. But first of all, let's talk about the Razzies, aka this movie's not War of the Worlds. Nominated for Worst Picture, lost to War of the Worlds. Well deserved on both ends.
Yeah.
Worst Director, the Russo Brothers, lost to Rich Lee for directing War of the Worlds. Also fair.
More competent, the Russo brothers agreed.
Uh, Worst Screenplay for Christopher Marcus and
Stephen
Steve
McFeely.
McFeely, lost to my friends call me Kenny Gold and Mark Hyman for their adaptation of H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds. Also fair.
Yes, this feels like a competent movie. Not the greatest movie, and nothing's really competent about War of the Worlds.
Speaking of potentially incompetent, let's take the trivia break. These are questions about electric things. I just researched on this one, so let's see. 2 answers required. The Electric Kool-Aid Acid Test was a 1968 nonfiction book by what controversial American nonfiction pioneer / novelist about what counterculture figure and author of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and His Merry Pranksters? 2 answers.
Do you want the author and who it's about?
Yes.
Tom Wolfe book based on Adventures of Ken Kesey.
Yes. Eddie Grant insisted that he and you were going to rock down Electric Avenue. Eddie Grant also performed a titular song for what Michael Douglas comedy film? The studio got cold feet and refused to use any of the movie's footage in the music video.
Romancing the Stone?
Yes, it's a good song too. Because I'm romancing the stone.
They didn't talk about that at all in the Podstruck just did an episode on that. They didn't talk about that at all.
Oh, I love that movie. I gotta listen to that Podstruck. That's my favorite. They might talk bad about my favorite movie. So yeah. Anyway,
Really? I like the movie a lot.
okay. Bob Dylan was booed and disowned by members of the folk music community when he played electric instruments at the 1965 iteration of what folk festival based in Rhode Island?
Oh, the Rhode Island one. Yeah, I know this at some point. Newport.
Yep, you got it. Newport Folk Festival. The fever dream of the movie Electric Dreams features, among other things, Bud Cort as a sentient computer and also stars Virginia Madsen as a player of what classical musical instrument?
Violin.
She's a cellist. And
Same
finally,
family.
what'd you say?
Same family.
Yes. We're all family. We're all family. We have fun. All right. All right. Oh, that's stupid. Okay. Rapid fire. I'll describe a unit of electrical measurement. You name the unit of electrical measurement. Uh, what unit measures the push of electrons through a wire?
Electrons. Wire. Current?
Volts.
No, that's okay. Think more that way. Okay.
What unit measures the rate of electric flow?
Watts?
It's amps. What unit measures drag on the flow of electrons?
The drag might be like resistance, so ohms?
Yes. What unit measures energy that was used?
Watts?
Yes. What?
Okay.
Oh yeah, let's I guess briefly point out things in the technical Oscars categories. We talked about this beforehand. There's only 2 of them. This would affect a lot of my visual Oscar awards. Big overuse of CGI, specifically there's robots that exist in the physical reality that characters see and interact with, but they're all made of computer graphics, and it's really obvious and difficult to look at from a this is real point of view.
Yeah, it'd be nice to use practical. That'd be very difficult for a lot of the robots, I think.
And similarly, there's a thing in the movie where because humans are lazy with their VR cameras, that they have robots with like TVs on them that are like VR robots, and they use CGI to make all that graphical overlay stuff work, and it looked really cheesy. I don't know.
I guess I was gonna say I was gonna say this for the review, but mentioning bad technology, uh, steal from The Simpsons when Bart's in his clown bed and said, "Can't sleep, evil clown will eat me." I'm gonna say, "Can't sleep, deepfake Bill Clinton will eat me."
Oh yeah, I kind of zoned out on that part. Um, Also, kind of like my review of Supergirl last week, where I was like, does every movie have to have a battle in a empty desert? The exclusion zone for the robots was just kind of like empty desert with a little bit of hills in the background, and it was really distracting.
Yeah, you know what? Well, I guess you try to put zones like that in a isolated place. 'Cause what was it, New Mexico?
I don't know. That makes sense visually. New Mexico, Arizona, but yeah.
They
And
say
then
it in the movie. I can't remember I just can't remember what state they're in.
that sounds right. They were somewhere weird, very graphic novel-y thing where it's not LA or New York. Yeah. Anyway, my only other Oscar category thing was the freaking hair. What was up with that? Post apocalypse, you can't get much hairspray or something because Chris Pratt has like Australian surfer dude hair, or it's like curly on the front. That was distracting. And then
Bad. Yeah.
Millie Bobby Brown has like updo pigtails. I guess that's visually distinctive, but it was like kind of odd.
Well, she has a lot of hair. She's got something with that, I guess. Her hair didn't bother me much as Chris Pratt's terrible perm. Uh,
Okay. Okay, Quan, the human version that died, uh, like just this kind of like weird, awkward scientist hair, kind of sticks up a lot. It felt very hammy. The hair design, I don't know, it's very weird.
I wonder if it's from the illustrated novel. That's
Probably,
really weird. But just Chris Pratt and Ki Kwan's hair has too much volume,
yeah,
especially
kind
for
of
a post-apocalyptic. Why are you using so much? How do you find all this product?
like I think of Mad Max, where it's like most of the characters shave their head, or like it gets really thin up top. Just makes sense. But yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
wouldn't have, yes, because you're not taking care of your hair when you're having a hard time finding food and water in the post-apocalyptic wasteland.
At least Jason Alexander, still had the same Friar Tuck, George Costanza hair.
Tucci's a role model in that regard.
Are they brothers? No one knows, right?
John Carlos lacking in here too. So
Yeah, he had yeah, it was like kind of gray, probably his real hair at this point, gray and receding. Yeah, yeah.
he's dignified, so he'll never shave it off.
I would never, I can't, I have to build
Nope,
up the
that
Giancarlo
was
impression.
built down. You're starting at James Earl Jones.
Listen to me. Go to the chicken place. No.
I am the butcher of Schenectady.
What a great name too. Schenectady is just like it makes you think of like Little Rascals or the Bowery Boys or something.
It's in New York, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's somewhere on a Brooklyn or something. My great New York expertise. All right. Anyway, let's get to the awards. First up, we have best scene in the movie. I literally did not have an actual best scene. I just put the big plot ones. Anyway, nominees are Millie Bobby Brown meets her robot secretly boy brother thing. The escape/shootout in Chris Pratt's hideout. The battle scene at the end on the field outside of center. Millie Bobby Brown and the brother saying goodbye in the virtual living room fireplace room. And then the very end of the movie when the robot comes back to life and starts Terminator walking towards Millie Bobby Brown. Well, there's something else.
Which robot are you for the last one? Which robot are you? What?
I should have remembered his name. I think it's the same one, Cosmo. He wakes up in the junkyard and he's alive. See it in the movie.
Oh wow. I guess I'm at tune at the very, very end of the movie. Um,
It was yeah. She thought he was dead, and they threw him in the graveyard. And he wakes up and starts walking back, presumably to find her or whatever. But, yeah,
uh, definitely the best scene is with the action. So it's either the end action or the action at the carnival. Well, that's kind of weird because it's like a couple times they yell at Millie Bobby Brown, "You got to get out of here," and then they immediately don't try to get out of there. I so I guess the final action scene, like like a lot of Razzie movies, anything that's the quote unquote best, you can point to feels like 50 billion other films that did the same thing better. But it was a fun final battle between the human-led drones and the robots.
yeah, yeah. Like you said, it wasn't super great, but I did like that it tried, and Mr. Peanut confronted Stanley Tucci and all that stuff. I was like, yeah, yeah,
Although, I kind of had a problem with the fact that uh Kehi Kwan's robot, who lives on after Kehi Kwan himself dies, is so easily able to lock that lab so that Millie Bobby Brown can take her sweet time to pull the plug on her brother. I
yeah,
think it would have been better if they were trying to do all that and people were trying to break in or did break in.
yeah. So, worst scene. I only have two nominees. You mentioned it already, but Bill Clinton's impassioned deepfake speech about he's gonna kill the robots or whatever. That was weird. And then it was a very movie cliche thing. Uh, terrible names. The butcher Schenectady comes in his robot form and finds Chris Pratt's hideout, and Chris Pratt acts dumb to fool the robot guy, and it's so overplayed. He's like, "You want me to do what?" So those are my two candidates.
Actually, going to throw a curveball and subvert this category to kind of, in this case, the worst thing, the thing that's stuck out like a sore thumb in this movie. And he's a supporting character, but who the hell's idea was it for Giancarlo Esposito to have that southern twang? It was distracting.
It felt lazy too because it's like this just fits that character too well. I don't know, yeah, yeah, but yeah, I don't know. Lazy Hollywood screenwriter.
It'd be cool because man, the Russo Brothers. It'd be cool if you were like a badass sheriff.
Yeah,
Uh, I don't lock down robots. I was like,
to be fair, you kind of need a traditional military guy to understand that Stanley Tucci's full of shit and to undermine his operation. So in a better movie, like Arlie Ermy would have played that or something. I don't know, but
it's better use Giancarlo Esposito with his natural charisma, and actually got a great voice naturally.
he should have played an illegal sales robot. I mean, Gus Fring is already there. I mean, come on.
Okay, everything is back to straight. Just kind of strong black man he always plays with without a southern twang would have been better.
They were going for more of a Marvel vibe where there's not nuanced characters, which is a bad version of a Marvel thing, obviously. But yeah, okay. Anyway, yeah. All right. Yeah. The all the 90. I did not like the 90s setting at all, and all that stuff was terrible. So Bill Clinton definitely wins for me. But anyway, uh, best quote in the movie, and only one of these is actually a quote, and it wasn't very good. But I have two fake quotes. Fake quote number one: playing a large chunk of Mother by Danzig when Chris Pratt gets out of his truck. That was awesome. Also, uh, the robots throwing Porsches at bad guys and they play Breaking the Law. That was also awesome. And then my only actual quote was, it wasn't that good, but I forget his name. Gus Fring says to Mr. Peanut, I finally found someone less human than a robot. That was the most clever line I could think of in the whole movie. I vote for Mother. I don't think I've ever heard that much of that song in a movie before.
Um, there's probably one liner that made me laugh, but I didn't take as good as notes in this movie, so can't remember it. I I guess it's Mother, but they used multiple popular songs in this movie, and they just give you a dab every single time. I guess you don't want the whole movie to be soundtrack fodder, but why don't you let it breathe a little bit?
Yep. This movie's not a breathing movie. It's a cut and paste happy action movie. Yeah. Worst quotes? Quite a few. So let's go. Can number one. Uh, at some point, I don't remember. Someone's car hits a deer, and someone says, "I'm so sorry," and then the other guy says, "So is the deer." I don't remember the context. That was dumb. All right. Anthony Mackie's robot singing "I Fought the Law" in his high pitched voice. That was pretty bad.
It was awesome. Way off.
It's not your thought your winner then. Okay, I get it. Uh, I'm I'm not gonna eat Masters of the Universe Zagnet tie-ins in the original packaging. And then what are you gonna do after you find your brother? And she says, whatever we want. Specific. uh Stanley Tucci's talking to the computer program of his mother, and he's surprised she's up and about, and then she just goes, such a funny boy. And then,
Yeah, yeah.
spoiler, this is my winner, but Chris Pratt's talking about how he went to a mall before, and we found a Panda Express. They had orange chicken, General Tso's chicken, fried rice, fried dumplings. None of that stuff goes bad. It was like, was that supposed to be like making Panda's Express on like a good idea for lunch? I don't know. And the baseball robot. Okay, my final one, pretty bad too. The baseball robot says, "I don't care if we never get back." And then the mail lady says, "We might actually never get back." That's the joke. Panda
I'm
Express
actually
all the
gonna
way.
pull a shocker and steal a Donnie from your best quotes for because I didn't understand the Butcher's Connectity, who's just killing robots left and right. Just decides that Stanley Tucci crossed the line when prior to feeling he crossed the line from the beginning. So when he says, "I found someone worse than a robot," thought that whole story with his character was lame.
No, it was lame, and it was kind of a Deus Ex Mach. They didn't really need it as a Deus Ex Machina for the good guys to win, but it was there. So yeah, yep, I agree. Let's get to the most valuable player of the movie, the good award at the end. My candidates are big budget battle sequences: Chris Pratt, Millie Bobby Brown, uh, the eventual killing of the center VR helmets. Like I said, the VR is kind of annoying. I don't know. Well, there's something else.
Gonna pick my own nominee. Who knows how good voice acting was because can't they obviously modulated his voice, but Herm is the best character. He has the randomness that this movie's kind of lacking. Kind of in a way, looking at the rest of the characters, the postal lady's kind of like that, but not enough. So Herm and Anthony Mackie are my MVPs.
Okay, fair. I guess I'd pick CGI battles. That seemed like that was the intent of the directors. So Russo's getting a paycheck also. But least valuable player, a lot of these. So let's see. Chris Pratt's wig, generic looking CGI robots. Skip your MVP there. Millie Bobby Brown's American accent. Oh, and getting to my review, kind of, my nominee is Hat on a Hat sci-fi storytelling, alternate 1990s, robot war, futuristic VR, smart boy running the VR system inside a tube, and the VR system getting destroyed entirely for some reason. Very convoluted sci-fi. That's my winner for least VP of this movie.
Uh, I'll give it to two people. I've been ragging on them all day, so I'm gonna loop in. I've been ragging on Giancarlo's character the whole entire time, but I'm gonna rope in. Let's make a trio. Giancarlo Esposito's character, Jason Alexander's character, and Stanley Tucci's character. Jason Alexander's not really not a main villain, but he plays a villainous foster father character. The villains in this movie are so one note, so rote, like a Disney, like
Bad
even worse
Disney,
than Disney.
And
So the villains are unwatchable in this movie.
I agree with you. I want to briefly add an odd trope that hasn't been around in a while, but Jason Alexander is a foster parent. There's the idea that being a foster parent is such a great way to make money, and you just ignore the kid. It never connected with me. It's like you have to raise a child to make this money.
No, it's a known thing. It's a real thing that some people just take on foster children just to get the stipend from the government or whatever to do it.
My George Costanza's too lazy for that. That's what I'm saying. Okay, yeah. I wanted to do like a critical discussion or whatever. The critics stuff I found basically covered it. So the critical consensus I got from reading Wikipedia is that uh, they're all negative reviews on Wikipedia. It's like a dumb, garish attempt to take high concept sci-fi and smush it into an MCU style movie with flat acting from Millie Bobby Brown and Chris Pratt. And that's pretty much my review. Yes.
I give a little more credit to the acting. I found the relationship between Millie Bobby Brown and her brother, played by Woody Norman, which is who names their kid Woody in 21st century, but don't need to focus on that. Was a little. I found it believable. But yes, it's the type of movie where if someone ran after me, wanted to talk about movies, and said, "You know, a movie I really liked, The Electric State," and I tell them I didn't like it that much, and they're like, "What didn't you like about it? It had action, funny characters, creative robots," and I'd go, "Yeah, I guess I had all that, but I just was missing that something." And then they'd probably yell at me like, "What do you mean by something?" I'm like, "I don't know."
Well,
It's
I
just
think as I've been getting at, the plot is not that good, and it just sort of like happens like you mentioned, the whole letting Mr. Peanut kill Stanley Tucci because you suddenly realized waging war was a bad idea after like 30 years. So like stuff like that. It's just yeah, I do agree. Like it's nice that their brother and sister get along, but why does why does the kid being smart allow him to power virtual reality helmets? Doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. They didn't really explain how, because it's Stanley Tucci created this technology, but then his brain cells, neurons are the key to unlock it. And if you lose that, the whole system goes down. There's no backup,
No,
which
just weird to
the
me. That,
science
yeah,
very flimsy. I wonder if the book had the same problem.
Apparently, the book's a lot more complicated, and so it's probably better science. But I don't know. I'm not going to read it. But yes,
I don't know what Wikipedia's criteria for loosely based versus based, but this falls in the loosely based category, so it's obviously I think they're thinking it's different.
yeah. Like I said, it's the only adaptation I've seen in years that was like actually different than the book. But anyway, so we only have two movies in this year of the Razzie Pantheon. I made a chart with like grades on it and stuff. I have to figure out how to make it visually appealing to put on screen for podcasts and stuff. But anyway, War of the Worlds would go in the bottom, like F tier, and uh this movie's passable. I would say D tier if you're grading on a traditional A through F curve. So it's better than, but not good. Yeah.
For all the crappy Razzie movies we're watching, I think this is a solid C. It's an airplane movie.
You convinced me. Fair enough. It was watchable. Like you, I was like, this movie's kind of bad, but it wasn't like watching I don't know, Change of Seasons or something where I was like pulling my hair out, like stop playing that fucking song or stuff like that. But yeah.
Flying back, I like this movie to maybe this was nominated for Razzies too, but I was flying back from the Philippines for a business trip at one of my previous jobs, and so I had a lot of time to watch movies. And I put on Rampage, a movie I would have no interest in if I was at home or definitely not from a movie theater. And I finished, and I was like, that's a perfect airplane movie. It was somewhat entertaining, but nothing to write home about. And that's kind of this movie.
Yeah. I think I probably dislike both these movies a little more than you, but not horribly more. Okay, fair point. We're right on time to get out of here. Before that, see you can guess this next movie. This is the last movie in the Razzies for 1980, and it's weird because it was only nominated for worst song and it won the award. See if you can guess it. First clue. Uh, it's a comedy film and quasi homage to film noir based on a novel, and it intentionally has a lot of old Hollywood stars in bit parts, such as George Raft, Victor Buono, Yvonne DiCarlo, and Franco Nero.
Had it been Nora Plaid?
You wish. Oh,
I mean,
and then you're sick because it's not a famous movie, so only whatever. The title's 4 words long, and what would
what?
classic what whatever. What would classic actor Humphreys see if he looked in the mirror?
Bogart. But here's looking at you, kid. Bogart, what do you want here?
I've heard of clues on. He would see the man with Bogart's face. It is not available from traditional streaming, but there may be evil Russian websites that have a link. So that'll be next.
Dear Lord. Oh my God. Okay. Okay.
So we'll figure out how to watch it and oh yeah, comment. Well, who knows when people will listen to this, but during Comic Con week next week too. So it's an interesting week. Yes. We'll see you next time on Twin Bill, the podcast state. What a pun. All right. Book me on your shows or let's be best friends and hang out maybe. I don't know.